Paul Brown said to me, son, act like you've been there before. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I just barely got on the field. I hadn't been there before. So
I'm glad to be part of that trend. Suns out, guns out.
How about Isaac Curtis on one side, Charlie Joyner on the other side? A lot of quarterbacks were very envious that I had those two weapons to throw to. But
now, wait a minute. Is it fair that Pat McInally is still the sexiest guy on our team? Is that?
You got me there. You got me good.
Donald, how you gonna be in that video not represent with a chain? Your tango, man. I got mine on. I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's great. That's priceless.
There are two guys that I think it's a travesty that are not in that Hall of Fame.
Ken Riley and Ken Anderson. Yeah, sure.
Let's put the backdrop on, Jamie. See if Marissa's okay with it.
Yeah, I got her backdrop. Starting the Canadian fan club up here for you.
That is so funny.
My last touchdown, and that's what Joe Burrow's going to end up like if they don't start protecting his ass. It's going to be the next David Klingler. David Klingler.
There's no Spanish speaking people here, very few. So we, fast forward, we go to the Super Bowl in Miami, and the word was the Bengals have two big Mexican offensive linemen. They don't know how to speak Spanish. So I got down there and started doing these interviews in Spanish, and they're like, "Wait, we heard you don't speak Spanish."
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? But I got on the plane one day in an all red Suge Knight suit. And boy, Joe Walters and the liner, they destroyed me. I thought for sure I was so clean. I had some gaiters on, all red suit on. I was Suge Knight. They roasted me.
The head coach was the pain in the butt. The Jerry Glenn, he thought he was. If you didn't know who he was, he walked out there like he owned his state. And I always say, if I could get a chance to hit him on the sideline, I would.
I'm tackling your ass, Pete. I'm shoestring low on you.
But I got to tell you, you have been stepped on, son. You would have had cleats everywhere.
Well, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Yes, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Again, I got nothing from you guys.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Look, we've got everybody on the screen today. Welcome to our post-draft talk, Bengals discussion today. A lot of stuff to get into. Very special guest tonight because showing up at some point here in the show this evening. Duke Tobin, Director of Player Personnel for the Cincinnati Bengals. We got a lot of Vegas discussion. Remember, they always say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. I'm sharing everything that happened in Vegas with everybody and every picture that I have. We'll talk about the inner circle. We'll talk about the draft experience. We'll talk about a bunch of different things. But it's good to have everybody on with us. We appreciate everybody viewing. Tom, James, Jamie, what's up, guys? Good seeing you guys.
I'm excited to hear the recap of your Vegas weekend. As you said, it's great to have everybody back together, and was a great 3 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Just adding more talent to the already stacked roster. And I know Tom and our buddy Deep Fry did a little piece on Thursday night, kind of leading up to the draft. So kudos to Tom for doing that. Jimmy was probably 10 beers in at that point. Well, you were the sober one and responsible 9. Okay, 9. So, no, great to be back and excited for the new additions to the team. We'll save Jamie for last since he hasn't been on in like 6 months. So, Tom, give us your thoughts.
Now, it's great to have the band back together, there's no doubt, and a very good draft. I don't really know in the end if any solid surprises. I think some messages may have been sent to some guys, but I think the Bengals stayed to their board, let talent meet need, and really help the roster. And I'm not certain the guys that we have now, or even the guys that'll be at minicamp here in a week or so, I don't think the roster is complete. I still think there'll be some reasonable tweaking between now and when they set foot on the Paul Brown Stadium practice fields and late July. Jamie, great to have you back.
Yeah, God, I just came on to hear what happened in Vegas. That's
you did see what Brandon said on it. I think Brandon said, "Don't
share it all."
Yeah, don't share everything. Sorry, Brandon. Everybody's going to know what you did in Vegas, and I got pictures and video to prove it. So we'll talk about it. But it is interesting, guys, as you look at this draft, man. I remember years ago, back in the '90s, actually, Tom and I remember getting the draft books, all the different. I had two or three different draft publications, and I would get so excited or so upset. And at the end of the day, you know what? We're not going to know for sure how this draft's going to turn out for another couple of years. We can be graded an A+ or a D. It doesn't matter. We've seen so many drafts in the past that people graded us poorly or really well, and things. At the end of the day, it's going to take a couple of years for us to figure out where this draft class is going to be at the end of the day. But Greg just hit it. I think the one thing that was very obvious, with Tom and we were talking about earlier today, extremely obvious that what they went for was extreme. They got, I think, 2 guys sub 4.4 now in the secondary and athleticism. I mean, when you got the quarterbacks we have in the AFC to get to the Super Bowl, you got to have guys who can track these guys down. And it's a very obvious, glaring obvious situation here what the Bengals are trying to do here with the defense, Tom.
Jimmy, 3 guys sub 4.4 that they drafted, all for the defensive backfield, all great athletes, leaders, ball hawks. So, and it goes right into where Lou Anarumo likes it. He likes versatility. He likes guys that can help in different roles, and he can put them out there in different ways to, not let the offense know what he's thinking and what he's intending to do. So, especially after free agency, I don't know if it was Coach Taylor, but I read a quote from somebody in the organization that if they had gone offense within the first 2 rounds, that the defensive staff led by Coach Lou would, storm out of Paul Brown Stadium's offices and so forth. So after going heavy for offense in free agency, they certainly lived up to the defensive side of the ball in the draft and did a darn good job.
Yeah.
I think you go ahead, Jimmy.
No, go ahead, James. Go ahead. You're good.
I said, I think if you look at the NFL now of how pass happy it is and the gunslingers all over the place, especially in the AFC with Mahomes and Josh Allen, you can't have too many of those tweeners, I guess, in the secondary that can, cover those big tight ends like Travis Kelce and these wide receivers. And I think that's what we added to our repertoire. Certainly, we know the situation with Jesse and Vaughn being free agents next year. Opposite Cheeto, that's a question mark. Eli will be back, but obviously he's long in the tooth. So love what they did, and Lou has a lot of weapons to play with.
Yep. Well, Duke, looks like Duke's in the waiting room. I don't want to keep Duke waiting. He gave us a very limited amount of time. I know he's a busy man, coming on draft weekend here. I don't think he's probably slept in about a week. So let's go ahead. Hey, Jamie, if you could bring on Duke now. Let's see if he's got a connection here. Duke, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
Jim, how are you, man? Thanks for having me on. Yeah,
hey.
I'm real busy. I'm sitting on my porch.
Yeah, well, hey. Probably have a little drink going on there. So, Duke, we appreciate it, buddy. And I guess what's interesting, we got a lot of questions for you, and I know we're going to try to get as many as we can. We got a lot of viewer questions right now as the viewers are watching. Any questions you have for Duke, throw them out to us, and we'll see what we can get to for you and throw them out to Duke here. But, Duke, we appreciate you joining us, man. It means a lot.
You bet.
All right. So I guess we got a lot of questions prior to you coming on, Duke, that I thought was interesting. People want to know, what does draft day look like for Duke? What time do you get up? What does it look like from the time you wake up, from the time you go to bed, or if you even go to bed on draft days through round 1 through 3 here?
It's the work's done, so I'm waiting around like everybody else, basically crossing off names and trying to figure out what's going to happen. But the work's done, well in advance of actual draft day. I wish we didn't have to do it at 11 o'clock at night, but that's powers higher than I. We used to do it all in one day, and you start early and you're done by the sun going down. But anymore, it's 3 days, and it's 11, 12 o'clock at night, and so that breaks the sleep up a little bit. Other than that, I'm sleeping pretty good.
All right, good. Hey, a lot of stuff to get through here, man. Obviously, the themes seem to be pretty relevant, top to bottom here. A lot of speed, a lot of athleticism being added to the defense here. Well, let's just go through some of these picks here. Let's just start with Dak Hill. I'll be honest. Again, all the draft public, a lot of guys had him going top 15, top 20. I was pretty excited to get Dak where we got him in round 1. Duke, talk about Dak Hill.
You and I feel the same way, Jim. I was excited to get him there too. When you're down there, you just don't know what's going to happen in front of you. You got to be ready for a lot of different things, and we were ready for a lot of different scenarios. But he was front and center on our mind, and he made it. And it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen in every other round, but we feel like he was a great fit for us because he can do a lot of different things and can fit a lot of different needs for us. So. Perfect fit, and we're glad he's a Bengal. I'll tell you that.
Good. Tom?
Cam Taylor-Britt is another athletic guy, which seemed to be a theme this weekend. Very fast, has some experience and some confidence. Tell us about him and where you, Coach Taylor, and Coach Anarumo see him fitting in this coming season.
Yeah, another guy that's really versatile, which we like in our DBs. He's going to start on the outside, competing at outside corner, but he's got versatility to move inside. He can even play a little safety, but he's going to make his early appearance with us as an outside corner, competing for playing time. And another guy that, we traded up for him, so you kind of know how we felt about that. I hate giving up picks. Absolutely hate giving up picks because every pick is a chance at a Geno Atkins or a Marvin Jones. But when situations call for it, you have to do it. And so you could tell how we felt about him. We thought he was a good fit for what we do on defense. And a really versatile guy, a lot like Dax, a guy that can play a number of different roles. And we like speed. We're chasing around a lot of fast quarterbacks these days.
Yes, sir.
Before we go to the third pick, Duke, you mentioned trading up. And as the casual fans, we see the media talk about the value chart that is out there, that this pick is worth X amount, and you try to equal the value of what you're giving up to move up. Also, you have to have a willing trade partner. When you're looking up there and saying, hey, this is a player we're potentially targeting, is there some teams that, maybe you won't even call and say, hey, we worked with these guys before, this might be an opportunity for us to jump up? If you can elaborate on trading up and how that looks internally.
Yeah, all 31 other teams are a possibility for us, so we don't rule anybody out. Again, I hate giving up picks, so this isn't my style. But when you are trading up, you're trading up with a player in mind, and you're trading up with aggressiveness, and you're trying to canvass all options at that point. And the value chart, what other teams are going to expect, and so you don't start doing that until you're willing to give up what the other team is going to expect, and then you start canvassing. And sometimes you start it a little closer to your pick. Sometimes you start really early. But again, it's not my style. I love those picks. I love the late round picks. I love the middle round picks. I love the early picks. So when we're going up with a real purpose, and we've analyzed the board, and we kind of think we need to get the guy and the fit that we want. And so we're aggressive when we do that. But I'd much rather collect picks than give them up. I'll tell you that.
Round 3, you went with Zachary Carter, which caused a little bit of discussion, but it certainly looks like a pretty good fit. We all know, we heard the coaches say after the season, one of the main things they wanted to do was get more consistent heat on the opposition's quarterback. And while some people said you get him here, some people would get him here. We have our own draft expert, Duke. His name is Deep Fried Draft. And I was texting with him, even though he was on a show, and he brought something up pretty quick because he had Zachary Carter ranked himself in the 3rd round, but he sent me over this stats. Walker was the top pick of the draft. In 29 games in Georgia, 32 solo tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks, and he's the number 1 pick in the draft. Zach Carter in 39 games at Florida, 39 solo tackles, 26 tackles for loss, and 17 sacks, both playing in the SEC, both playing against the same competition. What are you looking from Zach, from the time he arrives to September to be a big contributor this year?
Yeah, the thing is, if you're going to miss on a guy that plays at the highest level and is productive and has the appropriate measurables for our league, and he had all those things, and he was a guy that we felt really fit kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for a guy that can rush over the guards. We're looking for a pass rush 3 technique. He's got a lot of experience, and another guy that kind of the hallmark of what we look for is, okay, what is the guy's main role, and then what else can he do? And this is another versatile guy. He can go out and play defensive end on the base downs. He can drop in over the guard. We think on base downs, we really feel like he can be a real player at 3 technique, and then give us pass rush, on the long yardage, third down, obvious passing down. So, he really fit. I don't know what the popular perception was. That never enters our room. I know that picking after us, that was too late and you didn't get them, and that's the case with every player.
Yeah, interesting. So before we get to Cordell Volson, which I again watched some really fun tape on him last night and today, but got a question here from one of our good friends here, Joe Goodberry. He's asking, I'm sure every player the Bengals drafted represented some value based on your board, but which one offered the most value between where you had him ranked and where you actually drafted him?
That's a good question. We take guys that we like, and I would have a hard time answering that just off the top of my head. Some years there's really big slides. Obviously, the chance for the biggest slide is late in the draft, and as you go on in the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round, we're never drafting 7th round guys that we have 7th round ranks on. We're drafting 7th round guys we have 4th and 5th round ranks on. So if you just analyze the question that way, it's always going to be a 7th or 6th round guy that we have much higher opinion on than a 2nd round or a 3rd round type guy. But in this year's draft, we think we got really good value out of a lot of the guys. They fit what we do, and you're picking late in the round, and they have these breaks now, and you go home at night, and then you come back the next day, and you're 30 picks down the chart. And so you've got to have a bigger universe of guys. They tend to get picked over, and they always do. And but we were very happy with what was left for us after we had ranked the guys, and we thought that they were fits. And at that point in the draft, you're looking for fits. You're looking for guys that can come in and fill a definite role and have the athletic traits to do that. And with Cordell, you've got a big, tough, athletic, smart, well-coached guy, played a lot of football, and at a program that is a high-level program. Even though it doesn't line up in the SEC, that's a high-level football program, and those guys are well prepared to come into our league.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Duke, obviously, we're amateurs with this shit, and you guys know way more about this stuff than we do because I didn't really know who he was prior to us picking him, right? So wanted to dig into it, started watching some film stuff I could just find on YouTube. But man, this guy is, and again, we've heard his term 100 times, right? By
Coach Pollock.
Coach Pollock. Glass eater, man. This guy, there was a play that I saw. I don't remember who he was playing against. He pancaked the defensive line and went to the 2nd level, got a linebacker, went to the 3rd level, got a safety. I mean, this film looked amazing. I mean, this guy looked really well, but it looked really good. So I'm excited to see what he does for us.
Well, Jim, don't feel bad. I'm assuming you got a day job, so you don't have to feel bad about not being up on Cordell Volson a month ago. But yeah, he's a guy that shows on tape what we know about him, and that's that he loves to compete and loves to play football. And those are, I've said it 1,000 times, Those are two hallmarks of what we really want in our football players. Guys that love to compete and love to play football.
Good stuff. Tom, I think you wanted to hit on Tyson, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, Tyson Anderson sort of fits into that category of super athletic, super fast, ball hawk. I saw a picture of him today. Somebody sent me a picture of him. That man has some long arms. He's going to be able to bat down some passes and also help on special teams.
Yeah.
There is some injury concerns, some guys coming back from injury at safety. Do you look for him to contribute on the field on defense year one, or special teams, or ideally both?
That'll be up to him. We don't limit our guys when they come into the building, whether they're a first round pick or a college free agent. It's what they earn from the moment they step foot in the building. We take guys we think will earn a lot. They have the traits to earn a lot, and the desire and the toughness and the willingness to earn a lot. And so we expect him to earn as much as he can possibly earn. And, he's a really bright guy, really good leader for them. And so, again, he fits everything. He checks every box we're looking for. Do you have the physical qualities? And then do you have the intangibles? And he's got all of those in spades.
Yep. Jeff Gunter. This is a guy I've seen him play a couple times, smaller school. And I guess where it's interesting, I think, it's probably easier to see these players playing the SEC or the Big Ten to see them play against that competition. But there's some great players at some of these other schools, and I think we've got great value with Jeff Gunter. This guy's a stud, and he potentially could contribute year one as well. It's up to him, I'm assuming as well. Correct, Duke?
It is, and when in doubt, you got a good graded pass rusher on the board, and you're in the late 7th round. Go that way, when in doubt. And we had a very nice grade on him. He kind of stuck out on our draft board, and lo and behold, he plays a premium position and had production. And he's got the work ethic, the desire, the character, the toughness to develop. And so we're excited to get him. He was kind of a one and only left on the column of the draft board, and so it was an easy pick. And again, he'll earn what he earns, and it'll be up to him. We'll give him all the opportunity. We give everybody opportunity, and the more they earn, the more opportunity they get. And so we're excited about all 6 of them. It's a small draft class, not as many numbers. So we had to work pretty hard after the draft. I don't have any breaking news on our college free agents. We don't announce those until they actually come in, pass the physical, sign their contracts. But we feel like we've got some guys at least committed to come in and do that process with us. And so it'll be a bigger group once we get to rookie mini camp 2 weeks from now.
Duke,
speaking of the undrafted free agents, Duke, we know you can't talk specifics, but it seems like a mad scramble after round 7, after Mr. Irrelevant is drafted. As you mentioned, you have your list. Obviously, you only have so many draft picks. Certainly, there's still some guys out there that maybe got injured their senior year or after their junior year that are people that you'd like to bring into camp. How does that work, that whole undrafted free agent process for NFL teams?
It's exactly as you would think it would be. It's burning up the phone lines, selling your program, selling your opportunity, giving a vision to the player and the agent, and then negotiating the numbers. And there's 30 other teams in that same swim, and so it can get tense. It can get fast paced, but it's over before you know it. You get the commitment and you move on. And it's an exciting time. It's a stressful time. You have visions of getting all these guys that you would have drafted in the 7th round had you had 7 more picks, and maybe you get some of them. You never get all of them. But it's about selling the Bengals and the opportunity and your roster and your coaching staff and the vision for the individual player, as much as it's about the money. The money can be, a couple $1,000s more over here or $5,000 more over here. the most important thing with these guys is the opportunity that they're going to get. And so it's about selling the vision of what you feel the guy can do for your football team. And hopefully it's what he wants. And, but it's fast paced. It's quick. We try to gain a lot of familiarity with these guys throughout the process. So when we're calling, they know us by that point. And we want some familiarity. We want a relationship with these guys before we get to the process. Some of them get drafted that you built long relationships with, but the ones that go through the draft that you have a really strong relationship with, or have brought into your building, or spent time on Zoom with, or went to the pro day, those are the ones that normally feel comfortable saying yes.
Yep.
Do you
Hey, Jamie, I'm sorry, Duke. We're pretty much on the time we advise you. Okay, for a couple more quick questions, or
you got it.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Jamie.
Obviously, with Joe Burrow and all the recent success the Bengals are having, do you find the vision easier to sell right now to these guys?
Well, yeah, you know, when you play on the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship team, and you've kind of watched the playoffs, and these guys are all football fans. They watched the entire playoffs and they watched the Super Bowl, and they kind of already had an idea of what we're about. And so, yeah, that helps. Having recognized players helps. At the same time, they're more concerned about their own individual chance at the team and what your depth chart looks like at their position and exactly your vision of how you would use them. Because their number one concern is making a team, being around, having a career. You know, they're not fans of the Cincinnati Bengals. They want to know what the Cincinnati Bengals can do for their career and what opportunity they're going to get. And so that's the most important thing. But when they recognize you and have seen you play and have seen you on the big stage, I think that vision can clarify a little bit for them.
Tom, you had a follow-up question, I think.
Yeah, real quick on a little bit of a follow-up on Jeffrey Gunter. Two guys that, in a way, will be rookies this year that Bengal fans didn't get to see a whole lot of at defensive end are Joseph Ossai and Wyatt Huber.
Yeah.
Is the organization looking forward to having them back? Are they 100% ready to go?
Well, we're looking forward to having him back. You know, Joseph looked like Bruce Smith for a very short period of time, and then there was nothing. And so, yeah, we want our guys to be healthy. It's very important to stay healthy early in your career to kind of get that confidence in yourself. And you can see that coming back. You know, Jonah missed his whole first season. And after he started getting back, now you can see the confidence growing and the play growing and all that, those types of things. So it's a difficult thing for a young guy to miss an entire season, particularly when it's his first. But those guys have the traits to contribute, and we're looking forward to seeing them back on the field.
Good. Jamie, let's finish up just with one or two viewer questions. We'll let Duke go here.
Sure. A lot of people really like this one in the chat. So Kyle asked, how do you know when to trade up? Do you get signals, phone calls saying they better go get this guy right now before he's gone? How does that usually play out?
Yeah, Kyle, I'm answering the phone, and when I get the signal from somebody telling me to go, I go. No, it's not that way. It's a guess. It's an educated guess about studying the teams in front of you and knowing the depth of the draft and knowing when you're down to your kind of last guy that you've got a real desire for at that position. All those things kind of factor in to the educated guess that if we sit here, the likelihood of him falling to us is significantly lower. And this is a guy that we really feel strongly about. And after this guy, we feel like we're dropping down a level. And is this guy worth giving up a pick to go get? And when the answer to those questions are yes, then we go on it. And it's a feel, it's experience. But ultimately, it's a guess. He's not going to get to us. He's more important than the next guy on our board. He can help our team more, and he's worth giving up a late round pick for. And so we run those calculations in our mind. We see what options are available to us to trade up, and then we strike if we can.
Okay, we'll end on this one. A lot of people ask the same kind of variation of this question. With it all said and done, how do you feel the Bengals did with this draft? Did you accomplish everything that you wanted to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, you always see a lot of good players go to other teams, and so we had more than 6 guys we liked in this draft. We probably had 106 guys that we liked in this draft. So, yeah, it's hard to see other teams get better, but we really feel like we hit needs with players who are worth the pick, and have designated real roles for our football team, both this year and in the future. So, yes, we feel really good about the outcome of how we did with the circumstances we had, and the players we brought in, and we're proud of every one of those 6 players, plus the college free agents we signed, or we've agreed to. So yeah, we're sitting around feeling good. We got better as a football team. You have to get better in this league, and we got better at spots we needed reinforcements in, and so all those things line up for us to feel really good about where we are.
And I'll just close this with a comment. Duke, I'm so excited and impressed that you went out and got one of my Coleraine High School guys here, Coleraine football alum, Desmond Noel, I think is his name. So
he's not commenting on that, Jimmy.
I know, but I'm excited that somebody reached out to my Coleraine guys. That's all I'm excited.
Well, maybe Jim, maybe you could throw a party in a couple weeks.
That's right. Well, Duke, man, we appreciate it, brother. It's important that the fans understand. Hey, we're excited about. We know we've added some athleticism, and we added depth. We've added speed. Exactly what we need. And don't listen to the talking heads. Whether they give us an A grade or a B grade, we're going to know here next 12 to 24 months where these guys flush out at. But we're excited, Duke. I know you guys put a lot of time and effort, a lot of work into this. And it means a lot you coming on with us, man, spending time with the fans, dude. Thank you so much, buddy.
Awesome. Well, I guess I won't look up the talking heads because it appears that they didn't do well with us, huh?
Some good. We got some A grades. We were all over the board, Duke. You know, you don't pay attention to those guys. I know that.
All right. Well, my wife and I are watching a movie, so we'll get back to that, and you guys can dig deeper. But thanks for having me on, Jim.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks, Duke.
It's good stuff, man. It's good to hear the insight from Duke on some of the ends of some of the picks here, man.
It is funny though. I mean, a lot of these guys, they probably don't even pay attention to what's being said.
Oh, they don't at all.
I'm going to tell you, me personally, I know how I am. I'd be reading everything. I'd be sitting up with a bottle of Jack Daniels at night, looking at all the sending anonymous emails to people who are chirping me. But that's just my friendly Canadian ways.
Now, I mean, just give us a quick take, man, on Duke, man. I thought he was great. Again, what was really cool about this, guys, you got to understand the time and effort these guys put into this. I mean, it's an unbelievable amount of time. And for him to take 20, 25 minutes with us post-draft and post-undrafted free agents when he's at home with his family, that's a really cool thing for him to do for the fans.
I still want to know if he eats pancakes the morning of the draft, like in the movies. But
see, I think not only having him on the show is huge for us, and we've talked about Duke and other, potential guests within the organization coming on the show, but yeah, it's great that we have Duke on, but even better that we have him on literally right after the draft. Like this is the time that you want to have Duke on to talk about what the Bengals just did. And I think the way he ended it by saying that they're happy with what they did, I kind of feel like if there was something he didn't feel he got, I think he would have shared that. I honestly do believe that they feel they got everything they wanted out of this draft.
And we know they can't elaborate on the free agents, but there's a list of 12 plus here that are unofficial. But you look at the Ben Brown kid from Ole Miss, offensive lineman that we got as an undrafted free agent that probably would have been 4th, 5th, 6th round pick, got injured his senior year. Certainly has some potential there along the O-line. We know from last year you can never have too many of those. Everybody loves Clark Harris. What he's done, he's just been a rock there, solidifying that long snapper position for the last, since Brad St. Louis left, right? However many years ago. But we pick up the long snapper from Pitt, who has great credentials, just in case something happens there with with Clark, and there's other needs. There's linebackers, running backs, depth. Certainly, some of these will just be in for training camp and some bodies. But you got to like what they did in the mad scramble there for the undrafted free agents. And as Duke alluded to, it's about developing those relationships before, giving them the blueprint to playing time for them. And we'll see. There's been some buzz about the Kentucky tight end as well. So certainly needs. And we got the 6 players via the conventional draft and a whole bunch of other potential rosteries as an undrafted free agent.
Yep. So let's go ahead and get into. We had another guest scheduled for today. It was going to be a surprise, but this individual got stuck in Vegas, and their flight got delayed, so they were going to be on with us tonight. But let me introduce you here to Bridget. Bridget is a Bengals season ticket holder. Her and her husband were at the draft at the Inner Circle. She got to announce one of the draft picks. I think it was the 5th round pick. I can't remember exactly who she was up on stage. She was even on stage for the very first pick, holding up the jersey for Dak. But this is her, the Roger Goodell autographed the draft card for Dak Hill for Bridget. Bridget was going to be coming on with us tonight, but she literally got stuck, delayed in Vegas, and won't be in town until I think she said 9 or 10 tonight, it looked like. So we'll try to get her on again. She was awesome. She was a lot of fun. She was so excited, guys. I'm telling you, she was just so excited to be there and be part of it. But let's get into some Vegas picks here, guys. This is in no specific order, and I know Brandon right now is scared to death sitting at home in Portsmouth, Ohio, getting ready to hear what happened in Vegas here. But let's go through some picks here to share with you. But it was really cool. The Bengals second round pick was announced by our guy Ike, Iceman here, and Isaac on stage, man, looking good up there, brother. It was good to see Isaac up there. Another kind of funny thing in the Inner Circle to the stage, this guy right here, this gentleman is what's the Tiger King's name? Joe Exotic, James?
Mm-hmm.
Tiger King, yes, Joe Exotic.
Yeah, this is his attorney. His attorney comes over and starts talking to us. I was kind of like, is this guy bullshitting us or is this real? This is literally Joe Exotic's attorney, and he wanted to come over and take some pictures to send that he was going to show to Joe. So Joe Exotic's attorney right here with us at the Inner Circle inside the draft area there. I got some pics of some Bengal fans here. That's my son on the right, Ryan, myself and Ryan, and having some fun there. And then a group of our what Tony's branded us as the roadies. Have gone to all these. Craig, I got a picture of you in a minute, brother. Hang on here. Hang on. We went to the Stadium View in Circa and hung around, watched the Reds game, believe it or not, one afternoon while we were in Vegas as well. And here's our buddy Craig, smoking a cigar with his Bengal jacuzzi, probably drinking a coldie there for sure. And as you can see over his head and over his right shoulder is the draft area theater right there, out right behind the big Ferris wheel. So Greg was having a blast out there as well. And I had to order a drink, and this lady was making my drink. I refused it. I just went and got a beer myself somewhere else.
Huh.
I'm not going to have her make me a drink. I'm sorry, guys. I just
that's a roofie drink right there.
Ryan and I again, and I had to do my annual throwing some shade at the Steeler fans. The guy in the middle is flipping me off, but I've done that every year I've attended a draft, is make sure that we talk a little bit about mess with the Steeler fans there. By the way, they drafted the quarterback Pickett. They had no idea who it was. I thought it was very classic that the Pittsburgh Steelers draft a quarterback with the last name Pickett. So I'm pretty excited about that for him. And then if you remember one of our all-time favorite guests on our show here this past year, the week of the Detroit Lions game, is good old Crack Man. That guy, and I don't know how old he is, but I know he's like the Energizer Bunny. That dude just goes and goes. Just what a great guy. I got to spend some time with Crack Man. That's the red carpet stage there over the Bellagio fountain. The fountain was going off behind the stage. The NFL, man, when they do a draft, even if you can't get close to the stage, the NFL draft is worth going no matter where they have the draft at. Next year, it will be in Kansas City. Then there's another guest here on our show. Last year we played the Jets. This is Jet Santa or Frank. who won the Chop Champion of Tailgates. This guy has already given us the invite for when we go back to New York this year. He's already got a special menu for us. And, of course, we got Tony the Tiger there with his draft card for the Pro Football Ultimate Fan Association.
You guys are watching the Vegas Golden Knights get eliminated from the playoffs there behind you.
That's funny. That was Wednesday night. I didn't realize there was going to be so many people in town Wednesday night, so we just did a real quick meet and greet. We had maybe 30 people show up, kind of spur of the moment. Just posted something to social media, and we had a pretty good crowd at the PBR Rock Bar right there on the Strip. Some pics we have on the left side in the upper left. You can probably see Brandon with his helmet on. You see Tony the Tiger. You see Gary Faulkner there, the beard, Bengal beard, and the draft stage when the Bengals were getting ready to pick. See our boy Tony up there posed for the stage. And this is a small group of us that were there for day 3. Day 3 was kind of a struggle, guys, after being there for a few days. But everybody, a lot of our group showed up there. You see the good group. You see Carrie, Cookie Girl, and a bunch of other folks there as well. Another picture of that group. I think this might have been Thursday night of the actual draft picks. And then one of my favorite picks, guys, I'm sorry, man. You got to understand, I'm a mid-late 80s, early 90s hip-hop guy, and Ice Cube, NWA, and Eazy-E, and Dr. Dre, and those guys were my guys. So they put they put Ice Cube down in with the Raiders group of fans, and they had each fan segmented, 10 fans with a +1, so 20 fans from each team right next to each other. And they put that division right up front because the Raiders were the one hosting the event. And we were told very specifically I wasn't supposed to go down there, but they weren't stopping me getting a picture with Ice Cube. But I was very nice, very polite about it. But it was very cool to see Ice Cube. And his comment to me, no lie, was, "Oh man, you guys beat our ass this year." He said. So it was very cool to see Cube. And then this morning, on the way home in the airport, when we got to Cincinnati, part of the Bengal roadie crew there, you see Carrie and Tony and Brandon and Caleb and myself. But guys, I'm gonna tell you, I didn't share all the pictures, Brandon, as you know, and all the videos. But we had a great time. I'm telling you, if you've never been to a draft, it is. I know James has been to a couple as well. The NFL doesn't play around with this, man. They do it up and they do it up right. You don't even have tickets to do anything. Just show up to the draft, and there's so much stuff going on in and around the draft theater. It's unbelievable.
I just love that you're on a pretty much first name basis with Cube.
Yeah, you know, you'll be calling. I'm gonna get him. I should have got him on the show. My bad, Jamie. I could have got him on here.
Yeah.
Our new intro for season 3.
Yep, Cube's gonna do a song for us, a 3-minute intro song. That'd be awesome. But Vegas was awesome, guys. I mean, so many great Bengal fans out there. I wish I would have taken pictures of everybody, but it was an amazing amount of Bengal fans out there. It was really fun to see all the different fans from all the different teams. And what was really cool about it, guys, on game days, you know how people get heated sometimes, and there's a little jawing back and forth. Guys, it was just fun and having fun with each other. It's just a great environment, man. It really is.
I like Keith's question here. Where is it? Everything Cincinnati will get the draft. Well, hell, if Cleveland got it, then we sure as heck should. But, going back to the drafts, the first one we attended was Dallas at Jerry World, which was cool. Nashville, I think, was still my favorite, just having Broadway filled with people end to end, and the bars. Nashville's fun and all that anyways. So that was probably my top one. Cleveland, of course, was worse because it almost snowed on draft day. But as you said, it's if you can ever make it to one, get to it. They're a lot of fun, and again, it's first class all the way. And whether you have a ticket or not, there's so much to see and do, and it's just a fun atmosphere for sure.
To follow up on Keith's thought there, with some of the optimism and now some of the thoughts about updating, being proactive, taking care of Paul Brown Stadium, how nice our riverfront is, how nice town is. You have any number of places that the networks could broadcast from and then do the draft from itself, and music hall, wherever. But absolutely, after we get all that done, that's the next thing we have. If we can host a World Cup for soccer, which they're hoping to do, no reason why we can't have the NFL draft. I think we do a hell of a job.
Yeah, very, very simple. James hit it. Very simple. We would crush what Cleveland did. Just telling you. I think it's very hard to compete with what Vegas just pulled off. Good grief. That town's just nuts. It was, I don't know, a couple 100,000. I have no idea how many fans were in town for that. But Cincinnati could host this and absolutely nail it. And I do know that the Bengals and the city at some point are going to be hosting this. I don't know when that's going to be. And next year it's going to be in Kansas City. Poor Kansas City has to follow the Vegas draft. I think it's going to be a tough act to follow next year for sure. So I guess we don't need to stay on anymore here, guys. Anything else you guys want to hit on or before we close out?
No, remember we're going to be off next weekend for Mother's Day. So everybody, don't forget to give your spouse, your mom, your significant other Mother's Day presents next week. And then stay tuned. We know the NFL schedule release is scheduled for May 12th. So I know my fall is basically an empty slate until that NFL schedule is released, like a lot of people. So finally, we'll be able to plan quarter 3 and 4 on our schedules, and looking forward to that. And stay tuned for a special announcement when we're going to do a show that'll coincide with the NFL draft release for the 2022 season.
Yep. Jamie?
Yeah, sorry guys. I've been so busy I haven't been able to be on. I've been just glued to the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, so I haven't been able to make any time to come on. No, I'm just kidding. But I wish I was in Vegas this weekend. It looked like you guys had a blast. Maybe KC next year for some barbecue. We'll go down and have a party down there. It looks like it'd be a good time. But I'm just looking forward to getting players on the field and just seeing how this team's going to shape up and then come back and defend our AFC North, our AFC championship. Oh.
And Jamie, you're talking about coming down maybe sometime in the summer, maybe coming to
100% doing a road trip in the summer, probably when training camp first starts out or something like that. So we're definitely going to come down and see you guys. It's been a long off season already, so looking forward to getting down there.
Tom?
Again, like James started out, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. My mom, my wife, my daughter-in-law. They started the tradition of always mentioning that at the draft, so we'll start our own tradition. But happy Mother's Day. Safe. We'll be off next week, and I think depending on when we're on, we'll not only be able to talk about the schedule and how it comes out, but also minicamp. So, there will be a lot to talk about, and then we'll talk about some other plans for the summer. But everybody enjoy yourself. Stay tuned to Twitter and Facebook, and we'll be announcing exactly when we'll be on next.
Yep. Guys, thanks so much for coming on viewing. It was very cool to get a post-draft recap that soon after draft, the undrafted free agents from Duke Tobin. Duke and the Bengals organization is a really cool thing for Duke to do. Take some time where he needed some family time, and he took 25 minutes with us tonight. So to kind of give us his rundown here was very insightful. We got to 2 or 3 of the viewer questions, guys. Sorry we couldn't get to them all, but it means a lot. Whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, it means a lot. If you're on YouTube right now watching, it's very interesting. We get a very good amount of people watching on YouTube, but we can see the people that are watching that don't subscribe. And we have hundreds and hundreds of people that watch on YouTube that don't subscribe. So hit the subscribe button on YouTube now if you're on YouTube. Make sure you follow on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and follow the channel. We got a bunch of stuff planned coming up for the season and training camp that we'll be pushing out on our YouTube channel. We have the entire 1968 Cincinnati Bengals season on our YouTube, game-by-game breakdown. We got a bunch of fun stuff on YouTube that you'll be able to kind of watch as well. So we keep building that. We've got a bunch of stuff planned for the YouTube channel as well. But guys, we appreciate it. Thanks again. And it feels really good to have us all 4 on the screen again. So looks like Jamie just got done hosting the Bengals draft picks there, just cleaning up there at the Rope Factory. So.
Yeah, that's so
all right, guys. Right. Thanks, guys. Everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Remember, not here this week. We'll see you soon, everybody.